I'm sure most people who suffer with allergies would agree that they can have a big impact on your life, often controlling where you go, what you eat, even what you do day to day. But it only takes a very quick look online to find all manner of remedies that it's claimed could reduce your symptoms, or better still, cure your allergy altogether. Now that is a very bold claim, and when you hear how it's supposed to work, you might think twice. I've been a swimmer all my life, and when I was younger I'd be down at my local pool at the weekends for a few lengths. But somewhere in my 20s I started to develop a nasty red rash around my eyes. Then every weekend my eyes would be red, swollen, itchy, and I had no idea what was going on. So I went and had a full allergy test. 20 little patches on my back of everything from makeup and moisturisers to household products. And within an hour, I had a cigarette butt-sized burn in the middle of my back. It was latex. The latex in my swimming goggles, which is why these are latex-free. I'm among the 44% of British adults who have at least one allergy, so perhaps it's no wonder there have been plenty of news reports detailing the best ways to cope with, or even cure, an allergy. From suggestions that a certain tipple could relieve symptoms, to claims that a cure could lie in the very thing to which you're allergic. Not only is there a ton of advice out there, sometimes it doesn't match up. And all those confusing claims certainly left these parents none the wiser.
Advice changes all the time, though, doesn't it? When you were pregnant, they used to say, don't eat peanut. Yeah. And now they're saying, oh, do, you should.
Very confusing and very difficult just to hear so many conflicting things.
The news is changing daily, so it can be a bit confusing.
Amongst the most recent claims are those that say we shouldn't avoid what we're allergic to, but rather face it head on. And I'm about to meet a woman who's doing just that. Amanda Smith has suffered with severe hay fever since she was just 5 years old. Her allergic reaction was so extreme she could barely leave the house as a child. So it might come as a surprise to discover that today, at one of the UK's leading allergy centres based here at London's Guy's Hospital, Amanda is being injected with the very thing to which she's allergic: grass and birch pollen.
Come in. Hi there, Amanda. Hi. How are you doing?
It's a procedure called immunotherapy, or desensitisation, and it works by slowly helping your immune system build up a tolerance to the things to which it would normally react badly.
Can you give us a blow, please?
But because pollen used to cause her such problems, Amanda's having her breathing checked.
That's very good, that peak flow.
Before she's injected with a highly concentrated dose of pollen.
Immunotherapy is very safe, but we measure everybody's peak flow just to be on the safe side. All right, which arm would you like? All right, let's have an arm then.
Do you get any after effects after you've had it? Do you go numb or anything like that? No? Nothing at all?
No.
See you a bit later then.
OK then.
OK?
All right,
thanks very much indeed, Chris.
OK.
Thanks a lot. Because of the potential reaction she could have to the injection, Amanda has to sit tight for an hour, giving me time to quiz her about how bad her allergy could get.
I used to sneeze, my nose would run, my eyes would swell up, be very, very itchy, and sometimes my eyes would swell to the point they would close. My eyes were so bad that people used to say to me, it's like someone's punched you in your eye. I said, no, this is my hay fever.
So when it was suggested to you that having injections of birch pollen might help, what was your reaction?
I was a bit scared because I was just thinking, like, how's this going to work?
But according to Dr. Adam Fox, one of the UK's leading allergy doctors, it does work for a number of different allergies. It seems this treatment is worthy of its headline-grabbing status. We've got quite a few headlines here. How my potentially fatal allergy was cured with 70 wasp stings. Pollen pills suppresses hay fever for years. And hay fever symptoms can be significantly reduced after 3 years of treatment, research suggests. True?
Absolutely, and in fact many of those headlines are alluding directly to the clinical trials that support the desensitisation treatments that we're now offering routinely for our patients in clinic. So there's a lot of evidence behind this now.
While it's shown to work on the allergies mentioned in those reports, among others, it's particularly successful against hay fever and pollen allergies, like Amanda's.
The doses we give are enormous doses. It's challenging the immune system, saying, here's loads and loads and loads of grass pollen, so that, in a way, your immune system loses interest in it a little bit, so that by the time you come to April and May and the grass pollen's everywhere, your nose isn't that interested.
So then the immune system says, that's okay, then I can live with that.
Well, yes, and just doesn't respond anything like as much.
If Amanda's anything to go by, it's a real success story.
For the last 2 years, I haven't really had symptoms. So it's been quite good.
Has it changed your life then, knowing that you can now go out in the summer when there's pollen around?
Yeah, it has changed my life, because obviously now I can go out with my kids. Most people, when it's summer, you want to take your kids to the seaside, and I can do those things now.
Amanda's life might be transformed, but she's not cured of her allergy, as some of the headlines claimed.
It's not a cure, sadly. Most people will get a fair bit better, but not completely better. And then over time, over the years, it starts to creep back again.
And it can't tackle every type of allergy. So would immunotherapy work for my allergies to latex and to nickel?
Unfortunately, probably not. Different mechanism entirely. The immune system works differently and doesn't really respond in the same way to desensitization.
So it's not infallible, but at least it works in some cases. And the timing couldn't be better, because there are now many more allergy cases to tackle. In 2011 to 12, nearly 25,000 people were admitted to hospital with a severe allergic reaction. 4 years later, that number had exceeded 32,000, and it's a rise that some reports put down to our modern obsession with cleanliness. But there are also countless other factors of 21st century Western life that also affect our immune systems.
I think it's an oversimplification to imagine that if you let your child play in the dirt, they won't get allergies. The theory doesn't completely stack up. It's more complicated than that. We're having far more caesarean deliveries. People are more likely to be born in hospital rather than at home. Diets are changing. The age that we wean infants is changing. And all of those things influence our immune system.
The UK has the dubious title of having the highest allergy rates in the world, with other Western countries like Australia and Canada not far behind. And with the numbers of sufferers rising, so are the somewhat unusual claims about how to soothe your symptoms, from shining a red light up your nose, for which Dr. Fox says there's no evidence, to more familiar ideas like eating honey made in your local area.
You've probably heard the idea that local honey's got lots of the local pollen in, and that would desensitise you. It just doesn't quite work, unfortunately. Right. I would argue, go to the chemist, get some antihistamines, it works much better.
But there was one treatment for hay fever that really caught journalists' imagination. This story about gin and tonic appeared in at least 10 different UK publications. It caught the eye of Manchester GP Anis Ismail, who was sceptical.
It's a bit worrying, actually, because there is no scientific basis for it.
So where did they pick up such a claim? Well, it turns out the survey behind it hasn't actually got anything to do with hay fever, but rather asthma. When the charity Asthma UK asked people which alcoholic drink was likely to trigger their condition, red wine was mentioned most often, and spirits, including gin, least often.
I think it got translated as saying, well, if gin and tonic is better for asthma, ergo it can cure hay fever, which of course is wrong.
Gin does have lower levels of some allergy-affecting chemicals than the other drinks in the survey, but like all alcoholic drinks, it still contains some.
So the general advice we would give is try and avoid alcohol if you suffer from bad hay fever, because it'll probably make it worse.
So, just like those claims about local honey, it seems this novel-sounding hay fever remedy should be taken with a pinch of salt, rather than ice and a slice. And unless your GP thinks you're a prime candidate for immunotherapy, the best advice is one of the oldest. Reach for a good old-fashioned